got to break Sariba up. Sariba is a cartel. We have to own our grid because we paid for it. You had it too long. That's number one. We need to control the purchasing of fuel because we pay for it. We should be in charge of buying it. The fuel companies, you better buckle up too. Jackson Point pipeline have to be reverted back to the ownership of the country. Oh, Mario, you can't tell them how to operate their business. Well, yeah. The idea that you're going to impose what's best because of what the law tells you can do will cause an uprising in this country that you've never seen before. My children are going to be saddled with the debt of a billionaire so that he can have his name printed on everything we got around here. Because, let me tell you something, this is Dart Island. Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Word of Mouth. And I apologize for not starting at 9:30. Obviously, we had working out some bugs out of the new software we're using for streaming because the old software was acting up, and we wanted to install a whole new background. I can't see it here on my monitor right now, but I'm not sure how it looks. I hope it looks fine, and I hope you can hear me good. So, as I said, we rebranding everything, changing all of the whole format and stuff. So hopefully you guys can see and hear me clearly, and we can get the show started back on a regular basis. But so yeah, and please leave some comments in regards to what you think about the new background and what we did with it. If you need us to go back to the old stuff, let us know. Um, so so yeah, there's a few things that I want to touch on. Obviously, we didn't get a chance to come in the studio on Monday because again we had um, downloaded this new streaming software, so we were trying to get all of the stuff worked out before we actually decided to do a broadcast. But I know that there are a few things that are in and out of the headlines that we need to talk about. Obviously, um, cost of living is always right on our top priority in regards to keeping ourselves in tune and talking about and making sure that we do our part from a consumer base where we talk about these things, we create awareness and try to get some movement. Um, I found that once we talk about them often enough and we speak from a position of no of information where we got the correct information, sometimes we can get the government to to come off the blocks and do something, get something done. So that's what I'm mainly looking forward to now is having a conversation about some of those things. Um, just trying to see if I can find the link here live, just so I can kind of see it, but I can't seem to find it. So just give me a second, and then we'll dive right into the topics in which I have listed to talk about. Obviously, I think we've all seen where Kenneth announced about the port and the whole situation with the port. He's not wrong in some of the things in which he mentioned, but there's some things I want to clarify. I want to kind of mention because oh man, how did just one second. Trying to figure out how to get to the link that's on, but I can't seem to get to it. I don't know. I'm just showing the 8th. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. Trying to go back out to get back in, but then it's not allowing me to do any of that. Nope, nothing. This is ridiculous. Um, I don't know. One second. I don't even know what to tell you here. won't let me. I can't get it up on the screen. I don't know what's happening with this iPad today. It's saying something about not interacting as yourself. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. So again, sorry about the delays. Just trying to get some of the technical stuff sorted out. It's really annoying. Um, I see where the minister for tourism, Kenneth Bryan, has made an announcement in regards to the urgency of having to do a new cargo port in the Georgetown Harbor. Now, you all know how touchy this topic is, especially when it comes to doing anything in the Georgetown Harbor, because as you all very well know, CPR led a petition to successfully led a petition to trigger a referendum in order to vote whether we should build a cruise berthing facility. Now, if the minister is suggesting that we should dredge out the harbor to expand cargo there, I object to that simply because cargo don't need to be in Georgetown. First of all, it need to move. Now, I don't know how long we're going to talk about this situation where cargo and cruise can't coexist on the same port. And the reason for it being is that one, when cruise ships are in, no cargo can be offloaded off the at the pier. Reason being is because the cruise ships are coming in at that pier. Now, granted, no, we have a Royal Watler terminal, and we have the South terminal and the North terminal, which is in Hawkesbury Bay, which they don't use the way they should be using. It's because we have multiple ships. So one can imagine the challenge that they may have in regards to tenders coming in for each ship have to be at different locations. Hence the reason we had built the Royal Watler Terminal. Hopefully we could have alleviated some of the issues. But of course, Meisner Marine that built that, they really messed that up because the slightest weather change out there, that whole finger that they built out there is it's swamped with water. So, it was a poor design. It's still a poor design. Um, I didn't hear Mr. Bryan in that article, I guess I should say in the article. I didn't read an article where they even talked about the Royal Watler Pier in regards to the upgrades and what needed to be done. Problem is that all politicians and every political cycle has been afraid to embark on the conversation that cargo need to be moved out of central Georgetown. Because if we move cargo out of Georgetown, we don't need to do any work in that harbor more than what's already done there if we're only accommodating cruise ship passengers. Because we can turn that whole dock that's there now where the cranes and the containers be piled up every day, we can turn that into a welcoming center for all the cruise passengers, and you have enough piers out there for all ships to have their tenders at different locations. The South Terminal, the North Terminal, where the two cargo ships come in now within that basin to upgrade the Royal Watler, fix it properly, and then the Royal Watler side, tenders can come in all around that area. So certainly, I think it's high time that the government start looking at relocating the quarry. I mean, sorry, relocating the land, the cruise port, the cargo port. Oh my gosh, I'm so confused with all these thoughts in my mind. But yeah, cargo need to be removed out of Georgetown for many, many reasons. You know, the big trailer trucks at night running, it's a lot of liability. Um, Port Authority, and I can speak this without any fear of contradiction from them. Port Authority has some trucks that move containers from CDC to the wharf in Georgetown. Those trucks are not designed to be in traffic or on the main road. Those trucks are specifically designed to be in compounds, moving containers within the port compound. They shouldn't be on road with they shouldn't be on the road with cars and people who are licensed to drive around in the residential area. They shouldn't be on the road. And God forbid that something happens where they get in an accident. Government going to be under a serious liability suit because those trucks, when you look at them, I researched those trucks. They have a plaque, or they used to have a plaque on them that from what I heard, allegedly was removed. that specifically says and warn that these trucks are not to be in populated areas. But they use those trucks. And the gentleman who's responsible for buying those trucks, apparently now he's been released or he's gone now. They removed him from the port, rightfully so. But again, no repercussions, not held accountable. They can leave with nothing happening to them, right? The the entire crane system that they got out there over at the CDC site with all those rolling containers, packing up containers. Again, that's the same company that built those trucks. And apparently, the person who have now recently resigned is the person in which who's responsible for purchasing it through those companies. One would have to ask the question, what relationship and what connection he had with these companies. I don't know. But we need to get to the bottom of these things because it's unfortunate that we have these sort of things happening and nobody's being held accountable. And we, the people, pay the price. Now, when we talk about moving cargo out of Georgetown, that is a very critical thing that needs to happen because in under no circumstances, whether we upgrade the pier out there in Georgetown to accommodate larger um, um, vessels for the port, as Mr. Bryant so eloquently um, highlighted in that article I read from on CNS. The problem with that is that they're roll on, roll off ships that are out there. None of these ships are going out of service. Believe me when I tell you, if the engine's still working and they still got a route, they're gonna be using them. Now we're gonna be bringing in food from South America and different places, so we opening up our routes to more goods in the region, which should reduce the cost. That's a good move. But one of the things that stuck out to me that Mr. Bryant made, and it's probably because he didn't take the time to speak to people or just speaking off a whim. And this is no criticism of him, but just basically pointing out the things that he said and addressing the issues. He said, "Oh well, these older ships are going out of service, and the bigger ships that are newer are not going to be able to come in because of the draft." Now, let me just explain to you, ladies and gentlemen. When they start talking about the draft, that means you got to dredge. That means you got to dig out the harbor. And under no circumstances we putting in the dredge or digging out that harbor. If we doing anything in that harbor, it's to clean up all of the debris that's already there that wasn't properly cleaned after Hurricane Ivan, and making sure that we restore whatever we can, the best we can out there, as opposed to digging it deeper to accommodate when we got to simply bite the bullet, make the hard decision, and take cargo out of Georgetown and take it up into the Frank Sound area where it was suggested years ago and still on the table. The reality is that we have to make this move because, rightfully so, as Mr. Bryant pointed out in that article, is that we depend 99% of the things that we use here is cargoed in, is shipped in, either by water or plane. Now, 95% of it comes through ocean freight. So we need to make sure that we secure a port for distribution of our goods that is built between 50 to 100 years down the road. We can't be building stuff like what they did, that Mize Marine did at Roy Watler. They built it one year and we had exhausted it in the following year simply because it wasn't built properly. Yeah, that was the McKeever regime. I could remind on who it was, but it's not about politicians or politics. This is about making the right decision for the right reasons moving forward because the future generation is going to be the ones that saddled with the price and the responsibility of dealing with it. Because you and I both know that if we continue down this particular track where we're just gonna, or we're gonna upgrade the current facility so that we can still have the same cruise and cargo operating on the same pair, it's ridiculous. And the reason why it's ridiculous is because one can't go on while the other one is. So when cruise ships are in, cargo shut down. And it's not the other way around. It's not when cargo is in cruise tourism shut down, because then you will be creating a hindrance to the tourism product and the tourism market. So we have to find a solution that takes cargo out of Georgetown. Now, the argument could also be that, oh well, we got this big compound down in CDC and Portland Road in the middle of the industrial area. If we move cargo to Georgetown, we still got to truck all the stuff back into that location for distribution. Okay, I think that's a challenge. However, I believe that If the cargo facility is moved out of Georgetown into the breakers area where all those quarries and those big old unsightly holes that we constantly blast to get material, I think if we were to connect those from the corner of breakers all the way in and build a basin in there inland and find the nearest point to the ocean and come across, and these are the conversations we have to have, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I understand that there are going to be some issues about the environment. I get it. It's going to happen. It doesn't matter what we do in this country, we're going to have an environmental impact. We need to make sure that we do it sustainably and we do it in the best way possible, but we can't ignore the fact that it's needed. We need to remove cargo out of Georgetown, point blank, period. And the reason for it is because cruise ship passengers and cargo cannot coexist at the same time, operating at the same time on the same pier. Can't happen. So how do we fix this problem? And this is the problem that we've always had. This is not something that just happened. This has always been an issue. So we need to fix it. And the only way to fix it is to bite the bullet, make the hard decision, make the hard choices, and get the job done. Because at the end of the day, how else are we gonna be able to address this issue? And people don't understand that when they drive through Georgetown and they see a cruise ship out there, no cargo at all. You got cargo vessels that are on engines, sometimes waiting for the cruise ships to leave so they can come into the port. And that creates a hindrance for our sustainability because we import everything. Everything that we consume here is imported into this country. So we need to be very careful how we go about, you know, making decisions, especially that's going to impact us moving down the road. So, under no circumstances should we be enhancing the cargo facility where it currently located, because it doesn't matter how much work we do there, we still cannot bring cargo in when cruise ships are in. So it's kind of an oxymoronic suggestion to even consider spending millions and millions of dollars to upgrade a facility that we still can't use when cruise ships are in. So I don't know why we even going down that road, and that's the reason why I believe that we need to be very careful in regards to how this thing plays out, and I want to make sure that we understand the importance of doing it, and know for sure. So I wanted to take a quick second to find out whether or not if there's anyone that's viewing this, because I don't think you can get it on Facebook. I go on my phone and I still can't get it. So I don't think it's broadcasting live. If it is, great, but I don't think we're broadcasting live. So if there's anyone watching this, can you message word of mouth and say you guys can see it live, because I can't see it. And I'm trying to find it, and I want to make sure that all of what I'm saying here is not in vain, because it's just important information that we need to get out. So I'll just ask my producer if there's anything he can do. If you can check your phone to see if you can find it on your phone. I'm looking on mine and I can't find it. Um, just trying to work this small little. Hold on a sec. No, I don't see it. Just trying to work out to see whether or not you guys can act. If anybody even watching this. Yeah, 1 second. Just 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if we're on. I seriously doubt we are. Yeah, we're not on, Jamal. I don't think so. Now they're telling me this thing is I need to log in. We're not live. I know we're not live. Hmm? Yeah, we got to end and restart it. We're not on talking to nobody. That's why I was telling you I couldn't see. I couldn't pull it up on this because it's not on. Hmm? What's only working on YouTube?